Wow. Hey guys, how is everybody doing? And with the release of the brand new Apple TV series Cape Fear, which is a remake of well, the remake of Cape Fear and the 1962 film as well as the same name, which is based off the novel. Now, I'm going to admit something here. This is actually my first time watching this version of Cape Fear. I don't really bother to watch the 60s version. That one's never really talked about, so that kind of tells me that it's most likely just overshadowed by this movie. And when I heard that there was a remake coming out on Apple TV based off this and becoming a TV series, it kind of put me in the mood to check out the remake of Cape Fear. I almost said original. This is a remake. And I'm a huge Scorsese fan. He's one of my all-time favorite directors. I think anyone could tell you that they're a huge Scorsese fan. Either it's The Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas, literally any movie he's made. There's someone out there saying that it's one of their favorite movies. There's some movie out there that he's made that's one of our favorites. And this is always a movie that's been on my bucket list because it's always been a movie that I've always been intrigued by, always hearing stuff about, like seeing references in, mainly The Simpsons.
Love these speed bumps.
So I've always really kind of been in the mood to watch this movie, but I just never got around to it, nor did I really have a reason to watch it. But with the remake with the TV series remake now out on Apple TV, which I was originally going to review this the day that it premiered, but I don't look at a calendar apparently because it apparently came out on June 5th, not on June 12th. So the first three episodes are available now, from what I hear. I need to do some catch up. But with that all out of the way, here are my thoughts on the 1991 remake of Cape Fear. But starting off with my positives on Cape Fear is I think the biggest standout of this movie and what made this movie so watchable and so disturbing, which I will get into later. Did that light just die? No, sorry. But what made this movie kind of disturbing and made it so watchable? Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro has always been an actor that I really enjoy. Whenever he's in a movie, he's always a standout. My first movie that I watched with him in it was Meet the Parents, so tells you the range that he can go because this man has been in so many popular movies that it's almost kind of impossible not to recognize him. He's been in movies like Taxi Driver, The Godfather, Goodfellas, Cape Fear, Meet the Parents. He's been in so many classic titles that it's hard not to recognize him or even know who he is. Weirdness and controversy of him aside, he is a very, very good actor, and this movie just proves that because his performance in this movie is one of the best that I have seen from him. Now, granted, I have not seen Raging Bull because that is, I believe, his only best actor Oscar that he's ever won, which that's kind of hard to believe, especially how many good movies he's been in. And yes, his performance in The Godfather Part 2 is really, really good. But this might be one of the greatest performances I've ever seen out of him because he is so fucking scary when I don't really get scared of an actor when I watch them. Now, if they really dive into the character and really embody like a certain character, some kind of like Daniel Day-Lewis does with movies like Lincoln and what's that one fucking movie? There Will Be Blood. Like when he kind of like becomes the character to where you don't even recognize him. That's what Robert De Niro does with Max in this movie. He literally embodies this character and he is just so unrecognizable to where that is how great his performance ended up becoming for me because like he also gives him this like southern like accent which I really like that touch in this which I guess all of the actors in this movie kind of have an accent which I really like how Robert De Niro like added that. I really thought that was a cool addition to where, kind of adds to the character. And
Gains a pound a year till he's about 60. Me, I dropped a pound every year in my sentence.
he does such a great job at having this chameleon like performance where he's able to blend in no matter what. Either he's this charming, cool guy that you see at the bar, you get along with, have a nice laugh with, or he's someone that you're genuinely terrified of pissing off and you don't know what his next move is going to be if you piss him off. Like the scene where he's charming with that one girl at the bar, and then they go to her place to get down and dirty, and then it turns into a whole terrible situation to where he beats the fuck out of her. And I just loved his performance through and through throughout this whole movie to where he was both charming, you kind of felt like this was a guy that maybe you could get along with, but at the same time, like he's also a really fucked up dude, and you know what he's did because because his character is convicted of raping a 16-year-old girl, and he's just also done worse things, and he spent 14 years in prison. So Robert De Niro is just amazing in this role, and it's kind of hard to see anyone else take on this role. Like after I watched this, I'm like, I don't know if the one dude that they hired for the new TV series is going to do as good as him. But if anyone could do it, it's him. I can't remember his name, but he's the guy from No Country for Old Men. Like he is one of the greatest people to play a villain ever. So if anyone could top Robert De Niro, it's him. So I have a little bit of faith in that, but who it's gonna be a little hard. But Robert De Niro, man, he was just amazing throughout this whole movie. And actually looked up to see if he got nominated that year for an Oscar. And shockingly, he didn't. It was actually the supporting actress who plays the 18-year-old girl. I forget her name, but she's in From Dusk Till Dawn, and she's also the daughter in Christmas Vacation, which I recognize her from. I was shocked to see that she's the one that got the Oscar nomination. I'm like, how the fuck did Robert not get one? But whatever. But nevertheless, his performance is absolutely amazing in this movie. I loved it. It was terrifying and both amazing in so many different ways. And I loved throughout this whole movie, it kind of kept you on your feet and you didn't really know what was going to happen next because it kind of has this mental type torture throughout the whole movie with Max because he gets out of prison, he follows the the lawyer around which was actually his lawyer, but did a shit job of getting him out of court and not in jail. But he couldn't really do anything because if he's like, well, if you saw what you did to that little girl, you're basically fucked. And so throughout the whole movie, he is just torturing these people, and not like physically, but mentally. The way he's doing is just like he's not even doing anything, but he's giving hints at what he's gonna do. Like there's a part where they're at like this, I think it's a 4th of July parade, and he's just standing there, like across from them, just staring at his wife and not doing anything. He's like, "Oh, she a firecracker. You were lucky to have her, counselor." And like he doesn't say he's gonna do anything, but like he's like saying these weird things, like, "Oh, I'm gonna like," and it gives you an idea, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do something," and then you just don't know what he's going to do next. And that's what made this movie so suspenseful and kept you on your feet because when you felt like he was going to do something, he doesn't do anything. And then when you kind of feel like, oh, maybe he's just trying to get in their head, and then he actually goes off and does something. Like the part where he's kind of being charming to this girl at the bar. You're like, you in that situation, you know he's going to do something, but you don't know exactly what it's going to be. Is he going to kill her? Is he going to like kidnap her or whatever, and then no, he just beats the fuck out of her and like rapes her a little bit, but it's fine. But I loved that throughout this whole movie. It kept you on your feet, it made you feel suspenseful, and it made you uncomfortable throughout the whole film because you did not know what was going to happen. And I loved that mental torture that he did, and that's what made the character of Max so creepy. And that's what another thing that Robert contributes to the film is that he, without him even doing anything and him just simply saying something and him just simply being there, you are on your feet and you are just tensed up, creeped out, and you don't know how to feel. I also really, really dug the score that they had going on in this movie, and it reminded me a lot of other horror movie like characters like Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and any other horror character you can think of when they have like an iconic song because it had a similarity to those characters in those movies because every time Max were to show up on screen or if his presence is felt, that this score would play knowing that he's there. And sometimes he wouldn't even be on camera and the score would just start playing and you would know, oh, he's there. It reminded me a lot of like Halloween and Friday the 13th. Like even when the character is not on screen, you hear that score doo 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 and you know he's there. Or Friday the 13th with like you don't see him but you know his presence is felt. Like I really enjoyed that. That's something that I got out of it, and even at the very end of the movie when they play it, you still get the idea like he's dead but his presence is always going to be felt. We're never going to forget him. We're never going to forget what he did to us. Like I really like that. That's what I got out of that ending and that and the score playing. So I really really liked the score in this movie. I really liked it. I love the horror film like feeling to it where it just plays whenever the character's around. Like it was just very well done, and I really like the use of it, and just the score in general is just awesome. And my final positive is kind of going along with the mental torture thing I was talking about earlier. This movie does a very good job at getting under your skin and making you feel uncomfortable throughout the entire film. Because there was never really a point in the movie where I kind of felt comfortable. I was always kind of like tensed up and creeped out. Like, there's literally a moment where I was literally fucking grossed out watching it, and this was a scene I like actually fucking hated because it grossed me out. There's a scene where Max tricks the daughter of the movie that he is her new drama teacher and tricks her in going into like the theater part of the school because she has to go to summer school. And there's just a whole sequence where he's like flirting with her and she's like going along with it even though she knows who he is, and it's just fucking gross.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
And then he actually like makes out with her a little bit. Like it was fucking disgusting and legitimately hard to watch because it was just fucking gross. Like I don't like watching a mid-40s Robert De Niro make out with an 18-year-old girl. That's fucking gross. And then there's just other moments where Max is just being like scary and like actually like not being a creep and just being fucking terrifying. Like when his first encounter with the lawyer character. I forget his name, but I remember him from Tropic Thunder. He's the old dude from Tropic Thunder, the guy that writes the book. That's how I recognized him. But they're like when the first encounter he has with him, like face to face, he's just like, "You're gonna know what loss feels like, counselor." And like, there's moments like that where it keeps you on your feet and like just makes you feel uncomfortable and really gets under your skin. And by the time the movie's over, even though Max is dead, you still feel like gross. Like this movie makes you want to take a shower after you're done watching it. That's how gross it is and how under your skin it feels, and I loved that about the movie. I really love it that it did that because no movie really does that. Because there's a lot of movies out there and horror movies, and especially where people are like watching like, oh yeah, I don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Like the perfect example is movies like Saw. When people watch Saw, people don't like them because they're like, oh, it's too gross. Makes me like quease up, and I'm like, it makes me feel physically sick. Which I've never had that issue watching the Saw movies, which I guess I'm a fucked up human being. But I don't know, like how people feel about those certain movies. That's how I felt throughout watching this because of Robert's performance mainly, but just the whole movie just in general. It really gets under your skin. So I really loved that about this movie, and because not a lot of movies do that to me. Like there's not a lot of films or horror movies that really kind of get under my skin and make me feel uncomfortable. But this movie did that, and that's a huge accomplishment for me. But now moving on to my mixed aspects, and I only have one. And it's kind of like a balance of like I like it, but I'm like, this movie doesn't necessarily feel Martin Scorsese. When you watch a Scorsese movie, you instantly know it's Scorsese. Either it's Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street, his new movie, The Killers from the Flower Moon, and Casino, and there's so many other movies that he's made that you know that it's made by Scorsese or he helped make. Like there's so many movies that he makes where you instantly know that he made it because he's more of like a crime thriller type guy, like Mobster. Like there's people like Casino, Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street. Those are all movies you can tell he made. And there's people out there that there's two people in the world: people that prefer Goodfellas and people that that prefer Casino. I prefer Goodfellas, but when you watch a movie, you instantly know he made it. This doesn't necessarily feel like a Scorsese movie to me. And now, one, I kind of like that because it's like, oh, this is kind of like a different tone and a different type of film that he's going after. And maybe he didn't necessarily want it to feel like a Scorsese movie. He wanted it to feel different. But at the same time, going into this movie knowing it was made by Martin Scorsese, I wanted to have that Scorsese like feel. because he has a certain feel when you watch his movies. I didn't feel that throughout this movie, and that kind of bummed me out. Like, that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to watch this movie because Martin Scorsese made it. If anyone else made it, I probably wouldn't have cared. But I don't know. It's a good and a bad thing that I kind of feel that way. Like, yeah, it's cool. It doesn't feel that way, and it's a different feel from him. But I like that certain feel from a man. And now moving on to my negatives, and they're very minor and very small. My first one, and I guess this is my fault with the expectations of what I was going into, I guess. When I was hearing about this movie, I always knew that it was about a convict wanting to get back at this certain guy that put him in prison, and he wants, to get revenge on him. That's what I always heard. But then when I was watching the movie and I saw that he was already in prison, he was just now getting out, and it's been 14 years since this conviction happened. I was kind of bummed to see that we didn't necessarily get to see all of that. It's basically in our own vision of what could insanely happen. It's told to us, yeah, but I think I would have much rather seen like maybe a 15-minute opening of all of this happening so the audience knows what's going on, so it's just not like, oh, what's going on, because someone could be watching this movie blind, not knowing what it's about, and they'll be like, "Whoa, what the fuck is going on? Like, what happened or whatever?" And then they just got to fill in the blanks as the movie's going on, and you got to wait for them to explain it to you. Or maybe you watch the original, or maybe you actually read the book, so you already know what's going on. But nevertheless, but I'm watching it, I'm like, "Oh, I kind of expected to see that, but I didn't see that," and I was kind of bummed by that a little bit. But you know, since it's kind of told to you throughout the whole movie, it's not a big issue. But for me, that's just what I expected. I expected to see it, not be told it. But that's my fault, I guess, with my expectations. And my last negative, and this is, I don't really want to say it's a big negative, but it's kind of a big issue for me. There's a whole subplot going on in this movie about the main character, the wife and the husband of the movie, the guy from Tropic Thunder and his wife. There's this whole confrontation between them that he's been having an affair. Now, even like before they moved to this new place, and even now, apparently, like this has been a thing that's apparently been going on in their marriage for a while, to where he's had an affair, he's cheated on her before, and even possibly even cheating on her currently. And it's a whole thing for like maybe a 5-minute scene that they have an argument, and then it's kind of hinted at the beginning of the movie in like the first 10-ish minutes when he's playing tennis with this one girl, and that's the only reason that Max goes after that girl is to get at him mentally, because he's supposedly having an affair with this woman, so he wants to kind of get to him a little bit by hurting her because it's someone he cares about, and maybe have his wife turn against him, which I'm pretty sure was his main goal. But it doesn't go anywhere after that 5-minute scene. They have like a 5-minute argument, and they seem to get their shit fixed, and then, oh, doesn't matter. I didn't cheat it, whatever. And I kind of sat there and I legitimately forgot about it as it was after the movie happened. The only reason I remembered it is because I put it down in my notes. Because when I watch a movie to review it, I gotta have notes because I don't remember shit. So the only reason I would have remembered that is by having my notes. And if I didn't have my notes, I probably would have not have remembered that any of that shit happened. So it's honestly something you could have cut out of the movie. It takes up maybe 10 minutes worth of the screen time when you could have used like that 10 minutes to maybe show us like a little opening of how Max got in prison, which we could told it, but I'd rather see it. But it's literally something that is happening for a few minutes and then just goes away. And then we don't see anything about it after that. It legitimately could have been taken out of the script, and it would have had no harm on the film. All in all, guys, I really enjoyed the remake of Cape Fear. I guess we're gonna call it the original because everyone always talks about this. No one talks about the '62 movie, right? But I really enjoyed Cape Fear. I felt like this was a movie that really got under my skin, and that's why I really enjoyed it. And sure, there are moments where it's kind of slow, and maybe it won't be necessarily enjoyable for some people. But if you are a Martin Scorsese fan, you might not like it too much because it doesn't have those Scorsese feels. But if you want to watch Robert De Niro give an amazing performance, definitely watch it just because of that. But just in general, I would definitely recommend this movie. So what do you guys think about the 91 remake of Cape Fear? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Do you prefer the 62 version? Are you excited for the new Apple TV series? Let me know in the comments below and we shall talk about it. And if you like this video, like it. If you love it, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you will get notified for all of my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, see you all next time.